Hey guys, welcome. All right, so we took a break yesterday. Mostly I just wanted to spend time with family, and I feel like if I stream every day, I might just burn out, and so I will be taking a bit more breaks. I tried it for the first week and I liked it, but then at the end, I was just exhausted in general. And so I also have some errands to run this afternoon, so we're starting a bit earlier than usual. But we will be having a short stream today. I only plan for like an hour or so, maybe a bit more, but I think it'll be a good time. I've also been writing this morning. I just added about 600 words to the whole story. We did start chapter 12. So to recap, I think our last day we streamed was Saturday. Yes. So we did take the weekend off. Like I said, I needed to take a break from all that streaming. And so I think I'm gonna take a bit more breaks. I know Thursday I don't think I'll be streaming because I have a doctor's appointment and then I'm out all afternoon. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday should be fine. And then we'll take Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday off just for a break. I'm still gonna be writing, but I just need those breaks so I can recharge and be ready for the upcoming week. So I think last time we left off, Michael had rescued the people of Kanya that were missing. This is separate from the people that Lucinda found that she didn't recognize, so there's two different groups. And Michael found her and rescued her, and they rescued the missing town folk, and so they all went back to town. They got treated, Sun just went back home, and Lucinda started to change into a vampire, actually. And Michael was about to, give her a final resting place, but then Sister Evelyn came in and was like, hey, we have vampires attacking the town. So then Lucinda left. She escaped, and Michael and the other, Captain Journey and Ethan and Lieutenant Taylor set about trying to rescue the town. And as they were rescuing the town, there were two other holy knights that appeared. So we have Joseph and Gabriel now. And they showed up because Father David actually called for them. He didn't think Michael was doing a great job, and they were nearby with another priest during the whole religious ceremony, and so they were able to get there on time. So a lot of these towns are very close to each other, like a day and a half, give or take. So Father David asked for help, and they arrived. And so now they're holding a meeting trying to figure out what is their best step, what's their next step. Michael has suggested taking shelter at the mayor's house since his house was left alone, but of course there were ghouls there, so they're trying to figure out what's the best course of action, basically. From that note, I actually don't know what the best course of action is. I was just going with the flow. So in the earlier versions, there's this conversation happen only between Michael and the Holy Knights. There was another Holy Knight. His name, what was his name? Was Daniel, but I didn't keep him this time around. I mentioned him oh yeah, he's with the priest, the other holy priest. We didn't leave him without any protection. So, depending on their rank, the holy priest gonna have up to 3 Holy Knights or 1. Father David only had Michael, but the other holy priest that I have yet to name, and I don't know yet, had 3 with him, or it could be with him. So yeah, I think we're doing great so far. We're already hitting 18,000 words, and now today we should be hitting 20,000. I might not hit all 2,000 words on stream, but that's okay. I just want to get as much as I can in the hour or so that we have, maybe an hour and a half, depending. And then we can just focus on the writing later, because I do have some errands to run. But some good news happened, actually. Well, I think it's good news. So I have this cat called Olive. She was a rescue I adopted a year ago, and today's the first day she let me pick her up and put her on my lap, which is a great milestone, because I can pet her. I put my hand, by my chair, and she comes and boops it and lets me stroke her and stuff. But every time I pick her up, she doesn't like it. But today, she was, I don't know, she's been really whining lately, just calling and calling out. So I actually picked her up this morning, and she was kind of like, oh no, and tried to wiggle free, and I put her on my lap, and then she's like, huh, I like it here. So she was sleeping. She was napping and moving around, so, you know, she blinked her eyes at me, and that means, you know, I feel like that means she loves me. And so yeah, it was a great morning. I spent some quality time with my cats, getting closer. Alright, so let's continue. They're trying to decide if they will take shelter at the mayor's house, but you know, the mayor might not be all that clean. Well, it's the mayor's home. We need to get his permission. I don't like using my authority to force others to do what I want. Okay, let's see. Then it's settled, Gabriel said. Take Captain Journey with you and discuss it with Mayor Asher. I'm sure he'll have no issue sheltering the people he governs over. As for this Lucinda business, Joseph began. Sheriff Whitman has been searching for her. I say we pay him a visit and see what we can do to help. He's known her for longer than we have. I say we pay him a visit. I think there's a comma after there. No, and then it still says it's wrong. I say we will pay him a visit. That doesn't make sense to me. So I've actually, so on Thursday, I think it was, I mentioned how I talked to my friend and I can like maybe use a Kickstarter to self-publish this book once, you know, everything's done. So I've actually been doing research this weekend on how to get that done. And of course, I feel like I'm like trying to figure out like the prices for everything. That way I can give like an estimate for the Kickstarter and trying to plan like any like freebies and other stuff that might, you know, get people to like donate. But I don't know, it's kind of scary. I've never tried it before. So yeah, I've been trying to do all this other research as well. Like I know the story's not done yet, but basically I want to have an idea of what to do once, you know, I take a look at this rewrite and rewrite it again. Unfortunately, like this is, you know, I did, you know, write it as a novella, 30,000 words, but now it's a bigger piece. So I feel like I still have to heavily edit this story before I'm even ready to try to self-publish, which is fine. I just want to get a head start on it, really. Like, start thinking about it. I might even have to start, because I don't think I have a newsletter, like an author newsletter. So I might do that maybe like once a month, like showing small excerpts of my work and stuff I'm working on as an incentive. But I might have to start that up once Camp NaNoWriMo finishes, like in August. But I don't know. This summer has been stressful, so maybe I'm just due for like a vacation or something. All right, so who was here? I think Father David, Bennett, Gabriel, Joseph, and Michael. So Gabriel turned to Michael. We'll rest up for a few hours and seek him out in the afternoon. I'm sure there's a lot of tasks. There's a lot of things to do. Sometimes I'm like, man, they sound so modern, so I might have to change up the dialogue and how they express themselves. Once the shock has worn off. For once, Michael agreed. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's been like go, 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 go all this time. Like, there's a nice rest, I think. Maybe there's a nice rest. I don't know. I feel like it's just been like going and going. So maybe, you know, he's like finally gets to sleep, but doesn't really sleep. He's just rests, not even like a nice sleep. It's like he closes his eyes and yeah, time passes, but at the end of the you know, that time, it's like, did you really sleep? So we have, I feel like I never really like having characters just walk down the hallway and do nothing. I feel like if I'm gonna make them walk down the hallway, then something's going to happen. You know, they're gonna meet with somebody, they're gonna bump into somebody, they're gonna overhear something. But you know, if it's just like, hey, they have to get to this room, it's like, oh, you know, it didn't take him long to reach there. You know, like his heavy, like his hurried footsteps, you know, had everyone making way for him or whatever. Like, that's how we're gonna do this. To find it empty. To find, well, yeah, I think for now it's empty. I don't think he had his armor either. Undressed and so almost with annoyance wiped the sweat and blood. Now this is like super short. I feel like I could go into like a better description, but I will. It's just, let me just get towards the story. Like, I think, you know, I'll add to it if I feel that it needs to be described more. Body before climbing us lying down the cot. Maybe he's been bruised, like he's been hurt, and cuts adorn his body. Maybe when he had time, he would go to the medical wing and get treated. But it wasn't an emergency. Hang on, I think my cat's stuck. She likes hiding and like moving around my closet, but I have like a lot of boxes in there and I feel like she's stuck. Give me a second. Oh no, she's fine. She was just playing. You always gotta keep an eye on them though. I think my other cat, Princess, she was playing in there and her claw got stuck in one of my like backpacks and she was like frantically trying to move and I'm like, okay, let me go rescue you, Princess. So I always have to keep an eye on them. Okay. So now, when he had time, he'd go get treated, but it wasn't an emergency. I needed to check in on Captain Journey and the others, but couldn't bring himself to sit up. Exhaustion pressed on his chest. Despite that, Michael had trouble resting. One moment, he closed his eyes. The next, Ethan shook him awake. Michael's eyes snapped open. He sat up. Michael, Ethan said. His face was pale, and a few cuts adorned his face. It's Raymond, sir. It didn't make it. Michael rubbed his face. Yeah, because Sir Maynard, he had his like arm removed during a previous encounter, but you know there was an attack in the medical bay, so it was, you know, he didn't make it. Let me get dressed. Go tell the others I'm on my way. I think there's gonna be a lot more losses for sure. Michael dressed. So many losses. So many losses? So many lost. So many deaths. When would it end? And then we have a scene break, and so they're pretty like kicked down right now. There's been so many attacks. No one's safe. They have, you know, dying all the time. I actually need to put that in my lore Bible with my characters. Injured. Dead. So from the original, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 other soldiers that are surviving. The captain, the lieutenant, 2 foot soldiers. Of course, there's Ethan and Michael. Ah. I have to just make sure that all my characters that I put in there are on the list, just, you know, because I think on the rewrite I want to flesh it out a bit more to see, like, give them a little bit more personality, because right now I feel like I'm not doing a very good job at it. Alright, so now we're back to Lucinda, and she has basically escaped after she turned to a vampire. She was ready to be like killed by Michael, but you know, when she turned, it was more like I kind of have a job to do, I guess. Well, we'll see. So I'm kind of going to reference what I originally wrote. But so it might be the same, but I want to like base it off of that because I think sometimes I feel like I do a good job at writing a specific scene, and I don't want to change it, you know. But at the same time, it's like maybe I do need to like change it up a bit. Cinda drowned in the darkness. It swarmed around her, clouding her thoughts, her being. All she knew was pain. She felt different, cold, wrong, like not supposed to be there. Like ill-fitted clothes, too small for her. Flashes of images bombarded her mind from all sides. A man in armor, despaired faces of people, pages, and finally the face of a beautiful but deadly woman. So she's trying to remember, but she's not sure who she is just yet. She hasn't like really come up. Like, you know, like imagine like I feel like with her turning into a vampire, she's like pulled underneath the water. And so, you know, she's still struggling to like break through the surface and remember who she is. And this is like her mind's attempt to do that. Darkness was cold. Drowsiness settled on her mind. She wanted to let go, but she couldn't. There was something she needed to do. Something. But what was it? Come to me, daughter. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Like, I wonder who that could be. Alright, so, the voice echoed in her mind, drowning all other thoughts. Or maybe overpowering. Let's do overpowering. So I already used drowning, and I don't want to... Well, I use drowned, but I don't want to use the same words, in the same, like, scene. Like a good puppet. Lucinda followed the voice. It was so familiar, yet so alien. Actually, let's move that down. Because I don't know if we want Lucinda to like break through the surface, so to speak, just yet. Oh, hey, princess. Oh, come on. My other cat decided to pay me a visit today. She was in my... She likes sitting in my drawer with all my socks and everything else. And she likes, like, sleeping there. And every time she decides to take a peek at what I'm writing, she wants pets and cuddles. So I have the most lovable cats. Like... I thought, you know, like having cats, I'm like, oh, I don't have to like play with them that much. I don't really have to give them attention. They're very loner. But no, cats are so lovable. They like climb all over me. They ask for pets. They want to play fetch. Well, at least Olive does. She brings me her toys and I throw it and she goes catches it and she brings it to me again because she wants to hunt. So, cats, yeah, cats, man, they're super adorable. Like, yeah, you leave them alone for a while, but I mean, I adopted my cats, so they're already old. They're like 5, and yeah, they were 5 years old when I got them. Now Princess is like 7, I think. She's an old lady, But you know, starting out first, I couldn't pet her as much or carry her around. Now she's like gets cradled like a child and just wants attention. Alright, so let's continue. Alright, the voice echoed in her mind, overpowering all other thoughts. It was so familiar yet alien. She could recognize that voice anywhere. It brought back memories of pain, of anger, and despair. That voice turned her into a monster. Monster, is that what she was? The thought came out of nowhere. For a moment, she knew who she was. I might have to change that. Come to me, the voice repeated. I might have to change that. Ran faster, panicking almost. A strange memory whirled into existence. She was a vampire now. Someone had told there's something important, but she couldn't remember his name or his face. Of course, that's her dad. She can't remember. Let's move this down. Despite the confusion, Lucinda sensed the dawn. Let's put all she remembered was cherishing him. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Oops. If the dawn touched her, she would cease to exist. Okay. She couldn't let that happen. Not yet. There was something she had to do. Something. But what was it? Like, it's gonna have kind of like a repetition, because it's like, well, it's gonna be her whole reason for like resisting. Like, okay, yes, vampires follow their brood mother. They they act upon orders unconditionally. There's no way to resist. But I have it where Lucinda's all like, there's something I have to do first. There's something I have to do first. And I feel like with that repetition, though, it's more credible when she potentially, that when or if she resists, they're like, it doesn't just come out of the fly like, oh, why can she do this? And it's like, no, she's known there's something she must do first. Something that, is keeping her grounded than just allowing the darkness to like control her. Okay, so she ran faster, panicking. The dawn stretched out against the sky, and so Lucinda ran. She ran towards the darkness and the voice. Her body led her deeper and deeper into the forest. Might have to put a name to the forest. I think it would be a good idea to name things first. Okay. Further than what she had ever traveled before. So, dark scents. A dark, twisted sense caught her attention. And she followed them to a small cave. She hesitated at the entrance, but only for a moment, for the dawn reached her feet, forcing her inside. So then it's like, well, I feel like it'll be a good. I feel like, I don't know, the readers would know like, oh hey, she's actually going to maybe meet like the rest of the you know, of the vampires. A heavy aura flooded the cave system. Lucinda could feel it on her skin and on her mind. It called to her. She stepped further inside. And the twisted sense turned into vampires. It called her. I think it called to her would be better, so we're gonna ignore that. They hovered around the tunnel entrance, because they're not just gonna be like right there at the entrance. It's gonna be like further inside, and I think I'm going to have to like draw the cave system, because it's a, well, it will be something important later on, so I'm not gonna really spoil it. When we get there, but it will be important. Bangs, flashed at her. Their glowing red eyes were unwelcoming. And followed the call down the path slowly. She couldn't even form the thought of going back. I feel like with Lucinda's scene, it's kind of slowing down the story. It's been like super actiony, a lot of stuff happening, but with her, it's like, oh, you know, it slows down. And I think that's what the story also needs, like story beats where it's like, yes, high action, the reader takes a breath, and then more high action is like, oh, the reader takes a breath. Like, I feel like it's definitely a roller coaster, but you need a break. The woman's voice grew louder and louder, like the buzzing of bees. Let's see. Lucinda, the power twisted inside Lucinda, edging. I don't know, edging. Spurring her on. Like, I know what I'm trying to say, but impelling? Did impel? Yeah, impelling her on, I think would be a good combination. Lucinda couldn't resist. All she could do was submit. Further and further she walked. Figures melted out of the darkness, greeting her with snarls and growls. And then a new paragraph. Her vision blurred and the darkness melted into gray. There were hundreds of them, some from Kaya, but many of them unfamiliar. Come closer. So some of the vampires that transformed in Kanya, they did survive. They made it back. I think Lucinda might be like the last one that made it back. Everybody else, you know, if they weren't all killed by Michael and the others, they made it back. Some had, like, I don't know, I see some didn't give in into their hunger. They were like, oh, I'm just going to head back, basically. Okay, so we're almost reaching our hour, which is fine. I know Friday's stream was a little over an hour, and that's fine. We'll have a little over an hour as well. Okay, come closer. The words vibrated inside in the skull. She wanted to stop. She wanted to turn back, to go somewhere. There was a small spark in her chest that didn't want to submit. But she could never leave. Not now. Then Lucinda saw her. She stood at the center of her brood. I think that's what we can call it, a brood. Yeah, I mean, it's called like a brood mother, so we'll call her the brood. Glowing. Her pale skin, illuminated face around her. Then the gaze shifted at the unconscious boy at her feet. The brood mother smiled at Lucinda, displaying perfect white and deadly teeth. The fangs were larger, more pronounced than the others. So I feel like maybe their teeth should be like a symbol of like power. She motioned for Lucinda to step closer, to approach using a pale finger. Not a will of her own, Cinda complied. Though her heart could never move, she felt it like a ghost thundering. Her eyes ached, but the tears never fell. She was incapable of ever feeling human again. She would no longer see the dawn or the dusk. She would never feel warmth. She belonged to the night. Ooh, I like that paragraph. I have a gift for you, my daughter, the broodmother said. Drink and join your brothers and sisters in eternity. Linda dug her heels into the ground. There we go. But she couldn't stop. Panic warmed itself into her chest. She willed herself to stop. Willed. To disobey, but before she knew it, she stood before the boy. Aha, and then we're gonna make that boy Briar. Heck yeah, we are. We are. Because why not, right? Like, why not? It has to be him. Drink. I don't think I have to do a dialogue tag. We know who's talking. How about first, don't be afraid. You're one of us now. Dropping to her knees, Linda heard the boy's heart beating against her ears. At a closer look, it was Briar. Memory stirred in her mind. He'd been taken and now laid before her. Drink. The brood mother commanded. Ooh. Is she though? Is she? Alright. So before we continue that, let's take a look. Maybe I'll leave it at a cliffhanger. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave it at a cliffhanger. We're at chapter 12. In horror, Lucinda washed herself, left Briar in her arms. The roof, her gums etched like fire before her fangs lit out. Lucinda groaned. Her throat burned and her body ached for a drop of blood. It would only be a drop and nothing more. She wouldn't kill the boy. But he was willing to share his blood. Drink. With a gentle touch, Linda exposed the boy's throat. Because he stopped being Briar to her. Like, she remembers a bit, but, you know, she's like, it's like, this is disassociation that it's like, just a boy now. He doesn't matter, right? Alright, let's see. I think, yeah, I'm gonna leave it at a cliffhanger before going to like chapter like 13. A thick vein pulsed under his skin. I don't know, let's just put thick veins or something. Her lips. Closer and closer. She breathed in his scent. Hunger gripped her. Her body shook with anticipation. Lucinda needed his blood. She wanted it. Laughter echoed all around her. Her gaze. Wouldn't it be laughter, not a laugh? We'll ignore it for now. Never moved from the vein. Her lips brushed against the boy's skin. It was warm. Lucinda opened her mouth and leaned in. Dun dun dun. And that's where we will end the chapter. Chapter 13. Alright, so I feel like that's a good way to end that scene, because it's like, will she? Will she not? Who knows? You better read to find out. And then we turn to Michael. Now, okay, we have like a few minutes left. We'll start chapter 13 and then probably wrap up the stream. I did say it was going to be a short stream. I do have errands to run in a little bit, but I do have to grab some lunch before. And so, you know, get that done. But, I mean, I feel like we've accomplished a lot. Writing, because in the morning, I feel like writing a few paragraphs, a few sentences, and I get that done, and it turns to be like, oh, shoot, I've written like 500 words, and I want to keep that up. Like, even if I don't write all the words on stream, I still want to stream, even if it's like short bits. Mostly because I do want to get better at streaming and build the channel, build a platform for my stories and really get them out there. And I think overall it'll be good. It makes me write more, you know, because sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh, let me just write like one paragraph or like a scene and then stuff for the day. But this one, like, just streaming makes me write more and really think about the story more and add things to it that previously I had, you know, I wasn't going to add, but it feels like a good idea anyways. So I think it's basically working out. And then I also become like conscious of like, oh, that's right, you know, this is what I wrote. It makes me recap things, and it's like, oh, okay, this wording doesn't feel right, but you know, I'll make a mental note and come back to it. So it's definitely helpful, at least to me. Okay, so Michael said that Raymond didn't make it. So now let's have them be at the medical wing. I think I called it the medical wing. Medical wing. This said area, so let's say consistent. Medical bay. How about the wing? Like, it's better, like, let me change it now, so that way, like, when I go back and take a look at it, that's one part where I don't have to change. Many of its residents were covered with white linen sheets with the golden wreath at its center. I think it's called the golden wreath. Where do I say the wreath? Yeah, the golden wreath is like, you know, it's kind of like a halo, but it's a wreath. But we have about like 200 words, so let's push till we hit those 200 words. So it might be like the same time as like Friday stream, but hey, it's like an hour, like, you know, it's not too bad. Captain Journey, Lieutenant Taylor, Torvik, Ethan, and Maynard stood around one bed in particular. Otto stood by the door, his head bowed. Well, I had it where Sister Evelyn was doing medical attendance, but I think it's going to be Sister Ellen is the one in charge of the medical wing. It's just that Sister Evelyn is in charge of the kitchens, but, you know, she's busy. So I might have to change it when she appears, you know, after Raymond gets his arm cut because of the infection. I think she's like, hey, you know, I've done all I can. Let me whip, you know, up something to like warm our bellies or something. She's gonna be like, she brings comfort through her food, and I think I have to add a bit more to her for sure on the next when I start editing. Finished her prayers and covered Raymond's body with the, I don't want to call it like a death sheet, but it's like, what would it be called? It's kind of morbid to call it that. Let's see, she covering. Like, I don't want, like, yeah, it's just a shroud. Yeah, it's gonna be a shroud. Oh, okay. Good. All right, I get it. Like words with a burial, burial. There we go. Burial sheet. I was like, how do I pronounce that? It's so weird. Oh. We can hold the ceremony on the morrow, Sister Ellen said. Unfortunately, there are many others that we must depart from. Well, on the morrow is tomorrow, so you know, it's like we can keep it. It makes sense. Thank you, Sister, Torvik said. Sir Michael, Ethan called out. Michael made his way over to his men. He placed an arm around Torvik and Maynard. He will be sorely missed. The Holy Knight told them. He was a good man. Brave, loyal, and our friend. He protected them, you know. Let me see. Who was in the medical wing? Let me see. Let's see. We heard the screams. Oh, that's right. Maynard and Torvik were over there. Okay, so he protected them. Torvik said. When the change happened, he got out of bed and tried to stall. Maynard sniffed. Got one of those fiends dead before we got here. Okay, so we have about 50 more words. I think I like these scenes because it shows them, like, they show the characters interacting with each other. Okay. Got one of those things dead before we got here. He wouldn't stop. Ethan agreed. Never let an injury keep him down. Best drinker too, Lieutenant Teller said with a sad smile. Could put anyone under the table. I'll tell his family. Captain Journey finally spoke. Dad served in the war. He needs to know he couldn't have had a better son. Alright, so we are at 20,000 words, so I think that's where we're going to wrap up the stream for now. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't think I have any errands. But just to reiterate, Monday, well today, so Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have 3 more streams for this week. Thursday, I have errands to run, so I won't be available. And then we'll take a break Saturday and Sunday just to recharge. And then, you know, we'll keep up that schedule until the end of the month. And then I think after that, I'll have like vlog videos on like my editing. Maybe I can stream that too, and then, you know, working towards Kickstarter. So there's a lot of more stuff that needs to be done after Camp NaNoWriMo, so we can probably start, you know, I feel like after the month I probably like take a break and then come back to the story, because, you know, editing right after you finish writing, it's never worked out for me just because the story is so fresh. So, you know, I need some time to really give myself a new perspective. Alright, so we'll end the stream here today. It was a very short stream, just like Friday, but we got it done. We have 20,000 words, and mostly due to errands, which is why I started a bit early. But I really want to thank y'all for dropping by. I really appreciate it. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and see you then. Bye.